The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Commander Marcus Chen stood before the assembled representatives of 47 star nations. His uniform was torn, his face bore the marks of recent combat, and his hands trembled. Not from fear, but from exhaustion that went beyond the physical. "You cannot be serious." Archon Velthor's crystalline form pulsed with what could only be interpreted as disdain. "You wish to challenge the Eternal Arbiters? For one individual?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "For my friend." A ripple of what passed for laughter among the various species echoed through the chamber. The Xinthians chittered, their hive mind finding the concept amusing. The Kronak delegate's scales shifted to a mocking purple hue. Even the normally stoic Viridians seemed bemused. "Humans," Ambassador Thexrin spoke, his 8 eyes blinking in sequence. "Your species has been part of the galactic community for barely 2 standard cycles. You do not comprehend what you propose. The Arbiters exist beyond your dimension. They are fundamental forces of cosmic law." "I understand perfectly," Marcus replied, his voice steady despite the pain radiating from his injuries. "Lieutenant Sarah Morrison violated no galactic statute. She was taken because the Arbiters deemed her mathematically optimal for their collection. That's not justice. That's theft." The Council had explained it to him 3 days ago, speaking in patient tones reserved for children and primitives. The Eternal Arbiters were collectors of unique consciousness patterns across the universe. Once every millennium, they selected specimens that represented statistical anomalies, minds that stood at the precise intersection of intelligence, creativity, and emotional depth. Sarah had the misfortune of being humanity's first selection. "It is an honor," Archon Velthor had said then. "Every species loses one. We accept this price for cosmic balance." But Marcus had seen Sarah's face in those final moments before the Arbiter's sphere had engulfed her. Not honor, but terror. Not acceptance, but a desperate, silent scream. "The price is too high," Marcus said now. "You speak of prices." The Kronak delegate rose to his full 3-meter height. "My people lost our greatest warrior poet to the Arbiters 6 centuries ago. The Xinthians lost a queen mind that could have birthed 1,000,000 souls. The Viridians lost their first true artificial consciousness. We all grieved. We all accepted. This is the way of the cosmos. Then the cosmos is wrong." The chamber erupted. Accusation, mockery, and something that sounded almost like pity filled the air in a dozen languages. But Marcus stood unmoved, waiting for the storm to pass. When silence finally returned, Ambassador Thexrin spoke softly. "Commander Chen, I knew you would come here. I have studied your species extensively. You possess something we find both fascinating and foolish. This concept you call loyalty. You form these intense pair bonds, these friendships, and you elevate them above reason itself." "Yes," Marcus said simply, "but you must understand the Arbiters cannot be fought. They exist in a state between dimensions. They command power that reduced the Kronak homeworld to atoms when their ancestors attempted resistance 4,000 years ago. What you propose is not bravery. It is suicide." Marcus reached into his torn jacket and pulled out a data slate, placing it on the council table. 3 months ago, you all laughed when humans proposed our quantum anchor technology was theoretically sound. You said it was mathematically impossible to create stable pathways between dimensional states. Archon Velthor's form brightened with sudden attention. "You didn't. We did. Last week, our engineers created a functioning prototype. It can only sustain 1 human for approximately 4 minutes in transdimensional space. But that's all I need." The chamber was silent now, a different kind of silence. "You would die," Thexrin said quietly. "Even if you reach your friend, you cannot return with her." "The energy requirements—" "I calculated that already," Marcus interrupted. "The anchor can support 2 people for 90 seconds. Enough time to get us both back if I move fast enough. And if you fail? Then I fail beside my friend instead of living without her." The Viridian representative, who had remained silent throughout, finally spoke. Its synthetic voice carried an odd quality, something almost like wonder. "I have studied 847 species across this galaxy. I have analyzed their social structures, their value systems, their evolutionary imperatives. Most species prioritize collective survival. The individual is expendable for the continuation of the group." "Humans do that too," Marcus said. "Yes, but you also do this." The Viridian gestured toward Marcus. "You possess this paradox. You will die for your species, but also for one member of that species. You treat individual bonds as sacred while simultaneously holding collective ideals. It is illogical. It's human. Archon Velthor moved closer, their crystalline form reflecting the chamber's light. If we allow this and you somehow succeed, the Arbiters will know we aided you. There will be consequences. I'm not asking for aid, Marcus said. I'm informing you of my decision. The human vessel is already in position near the Arbiter's dimensional threshold. I launch in 2 hours. I came here only because Sarah would want me to try diplomacy first. He paused.
She always was the reasonable one. The Kronak delegate's scales shifted to deep red, respect in his species' color language.
You know this is madness. I know this is friendship. As Marcus turned to leave, Ambassador Thexrin called out, Commander Chen, wait. The eight-eyed diplomat approached, holding out a small crystalline device. This is a Viridian emergency beacon. When you activate your quantum anchor, trigger this simultaneously. It will complicate the dimensional mathematics, make it harder for the Arbiters to track your entry point. Marcus took the device, understanding dawning in his eyes. That's aid. That's a test, the Viridian corrected. We wish to see if human loyalty is truly stronger than cosmic law. We find ourselves curious. One by one, the other delegates approached. The Kronak offered a personal shield generator. The Xinthians provided a biological stimulant that would keep his neural pathways functioning in transdimensional space. Even the Archon contributed a fragment of their crystalline matrix, a map of dimensional frequencies that might help him navigate the space between spaces. We mock what we do not understand, Archon Velthor said softly. But perhaps we should learn from it instead. 12 hours later, the Galactic Council watched their view screens in absolute silence. The human vessel had pierced dimensional barriers that were supposed to be impenetrable. Energy readings spiked as the quantum anchor tore a hole between realities. For 4 minutes, an eternity in transdimensional time, there was only static. Then 2 human biosignatures appeared on the sensors, tumbling back into normal space inside a rescue pod. Battered, burned, barely alive, but together. The Eternal Arbiters had been challenged. The cosmic order had been defied. And against all mathematics, all probability, all reason, it had worked. In the council chamber, no one mocked. No one laughed. They simply watched as humanity taught the galaxy a new lesson, that some bonds transcend even the laws of reality itself, and that loyalty, true, stubborn, unreasonable human loyalty, might be the most powerful force in the universe. Commander Marcus Chen and Lieutenant Sarah Morrison would spend 3 months in medical recovery. The Arbiters would never select another human, whether from caution or respect, no one could say. And the word friendship would enter 47 different alien languages, each struggling to capture what they had witnessed. Some called it madness. Others called it inspiration. Humans simply called it Tuesday.